This is where you go.
Oh, that's where I go?
Yeah.
Hey everyone, we are here for my deck tech. I am battling with Brian Kibler's Teamer Monsters deck, mid-range deck.
Yeah, where he had a phenomenal finish.
Yes, he did.
Just not as good as mine.
Ooh, wow. It was better than mine, though. So,
I may have beaten him in the Swiss.
No dirt off of Brad Nelson's shoulders, but don't worry, Brian. I'm going to get revenge on Brad here today with this sweet combination of cards. So basically this deck is just like a pretty much normal monster strategy, but I like it because it's much more like low to the ground than some of the monster strategies we saw in the last format. And one of the main ways you get to accomplish that is instead of playing Sylvan Caryatid, you get to play a 2/1, so your mana guy can actually attack, which is like really important because, I mean, Rattleclaw actually gets in a lot of damage over the course of games. You know, your Pelucrinoses and Knuckle Blades are going to be eating removal spells, but this little guy can just keep getting in there.
Yeah, and
people don't want to kill it.
You're a deck with a fireball.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, basically, like, we have a bunch of really cheap guys here. I like Heir of the Wilds a lot. It's actually very easy to turn on the Ferocious ability with, like, Boon Satyr flashing in, Ashcloud Phoenix, Pelucrinos, and Knuckleblade, all being 4-power guys, which also makes the Crater's Claws, like, really good. Especially when you can just use them as a lightning bolt to kill a guy, too.
Yeah, I mean, especially with so many guys that are 2/2s in this format or less, I mean, you can just play a 4-power guy and then for 1 mana kill something, or in the early games. Like, that's a huge tempo play, and that's why that card is great, because it can do that alongside kill people.
Yeah, it can also just be like, hey, you're at 10.
Yeah.
I'll fireball you and lightning strike you or whatever. Unfortunately, you can't Teamer Charm them, but...
You cannot Teamer Charm them, but Teamer Charm's third ability also deals damage.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, like, all the abilities on Teamer Charm are pretty relevant. I feel like the fight ability is probably the most relevant ability most of the time. Like, your creatures are pretty big. Air has Death Touch. Ashcloud Phoenix is going to come back and things like that. But just even access to like a mana leak alongside Boon Satyr, you can hold up in 3 mana and either leak their play or flash in a Boon Satyr is pretty relevant. And sometimes like making them unable to block with all their Caryatids and Elvish Mystics can just let you get in lethal damage. Or the very worst, put them in a place where Fireball will finish the deal the next turn.
Yeah, when I played against him in the GP, I was very impressed by the deck. I did have a great on-the-fly sideboard strategy of kill all the things and cast Raid the Bones. Just never let anything stick.
Yeah.
Like, no mass removal, just don't let a creature stick and cast Raid the Bones. And it was fine. I mean, there was a point where I had to top deck or I was dead, and I did. 1-outer.
Yeah. I mean, that's just pretty much standard, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty easy game right there. I actually played against this deck at the Pro Tour, and I got smashed. I was playing the Jeskai Ascendancy deck, and Stubborn Denial
is disgusting.
It actually just 4-spiked me on turn 2, and I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, it is disgusting.
Yeah,
that card is very good.
Really disgusting.
One of the things I really like about his list is that he is actually using the morph trick in this deck.
Yes.
Like, he can like put a morph into play, and it could be either one of these. And now, yes, you think that he's just going to want to cast this card, right? But there's going to be games where getting into play for cheaper, playing something else next turn, and then being able to flip it up and deal 6 is exactly what he wants out of his deck. And I think that if you don't respect the morph, it gives Ashcloud Phoenix so much more power.
Yeah.
Like, not only can this like ramp him the next turn, but it could also just be an Ashcloud Phoenix, and that's extremely scary. Same goes to when you have 6 mana. People were talking about Sawgu Mauler and all that powerful stuff, but you can just flip over Rattleclaw Mystic and attack with it and Boon Satyr it on as quick as turn 3, right? Play this, play morph, attack, flip it over, play this. You don't even have to take pain from your pain lands. Or you can like Teamer Charm alongside Boon Satyr on their turn.
Yeah.
So it's just very powerful card in my opinion for the deck, and they camouflage each other really well.
Yeah, and I also think that like Ashcloud Phoenix, I like the fact that the list is moving more towards Ashcloud Phoenixes as well, because I think the card is just super powerful, especially in a removal heavy metagame. Like, it makes the card Hero's Downfall look terrible.
Oh yeah, I mean, I've been like, I have probably cast Ashcloud Phoenix more times than any card in like my Mardu deck, but I've just never actually played the card. Like, most of my test decks going into the Pro Tour and the GP had 4 Ashcloud Phoenixes in them.
Yeah,
same.
I
just did not commit to it in either deck. and I just wanted to find the home, and I think this is the best home for it.
Yeah, I think so too. Especially, this is the home. I think Ash Cloud Phoenix fits best into an aggressive shell, where just the damage that it provides like early on really matters a lot. But it also plays defense really well against things like Dragon and stuff too. So
Yeah.
it's just a super versatile card. The more I've played with it, the more I've like been morphing it on 3 sometimes too, which like you wouldn't expect, but like you were
It
talking
happens,
about, yeah, it actually happens. And then there's also a Sarkhan here at the top end. I'm not sure that Sarkhan is better than Stormbreath Dragon if Abzan Charm is as popular as it is, because you can Abzan Charm the Sarkhan but not Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the numbers there might be like shiftable depending on the metagame.
I think a deck that has a bunch of creatures wants the Sarkhan to complement being a removal spell. And so like sometimes like just being able to kill something is really relevant.
Yeah.
And it plays both roles. Like it's going to probably like I think it's better than Dragon because Dragon has no option. Whereas what's going to happen if they tapped out and you want to hit them for 4, you get to. But if they tapped out and you want to kill a creature, you get to. But with Dragon, you only get to deal the 4 damage. And so because this is such a tempo-based deck, like that having that option is extremely relevant, I think.
Yeah, and sometimes Sarkhan deals 4 damage to them even by killing a creature too. Like you play your Sarkhan, you kill their guy, and now you can attack with these guys,
Yep.
or whatever, or something. You can still get in damage that way too. But I do like Dragon's Pro White. I think it's actually very relevant right now.
Well, how about we check the sideboard and find the 2 pro white guys in the sideboard?
That's a good idea.
Transitioning.
Transitioning. All right, we're back for the sideboard, and well,
There's the 2 dragons.
There's the dragons.
Let's battle.
Yep.